And joining us now is Khushbu Sundar, a politician and actress. Khushbu, thank you so much. As a woman politician and also as an actor, you have faced misogyny on multiple occasions, and every time you have called it out. Do you think a judgment of this nature will set the much needed Lakshman Rekha that sexist comments are not acceptable? And now that it has come in the domain of hate speech, how far do you think it will go?
I really appreciate the judgment that has been given out by Justice Venkatesh in Madras High Court. And he's very clearly said that if FR has not been filed, then he will be initiated to take a suo motu against Mr. Ponmudy. We need these kind of judgments. We need these kind of mindsets where it assures that women can rely on the justice of a country. There are still people like Justice Venkatesh who look into the goodwill of women, who say that a woman's integrity, her safety, and her respectability and dignity has to be right at the top. And I still don't have faith on DMK because, see, very interestingly, they have relieved him of the post he had in the party, but he continues to be the minister. Yes. Ponmudy, as shameless as he is, he refuses to step down from the position he holds as a minister. He continues with that. So I really hope that my CM of my state, Mr. M.K. Stalin, takes an action and tells Mr. Ponmudy to step down.
I'm looking at something that you spoke about in 2022. You had in fact gone ahead and tagged M.K. Stalin and asked questions to Kanimori as well at that time. And I'm reading a part of the tweet where you said, when men abuse women, it just shows what kind of upbringing they have had and the toxic environment they were brought up in. Such men call themselves followers of Kalinga. Is this the new Dravidian model, Honorable Chief Minister? You asked that question to the Chief Minister, who is the Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, and Ponmudy is in his Council of Ministers, ma'am. Do you think these barbs, these comments are almost like given when you are there in politics or in public life?
I think some men take it for granted. They think that because a woman is in public life, she's a public figure and she's a public property. So it's our birthright to abuse a woman. And I think men who abuse a woman is just like I always say, just shows their upbringing, the kind of very toxic environment. They have seen the women of their home probably being abused and staying quiet. You know, that is worst. Where they are abused, the women of the house, they know they're being abused, yet they remain quiet. They do not retaliate. They do not raise a question. They don't ask anything, but they very silently suffer. I think that's where men like Ponmudy and others, and I'm not going to talk about DMK alone. I think across every political line, you see men, and now you have the social media. So you have very anonymous, unknown, yes. I call them cowards, slimy cowards, where they don't want to show their names. They don't want to show their faces because they know they're ugly. Some of their public family members might be on a social platform. So they want to hide their real identity. And then they get this sadistic pleasure in abusing a woman. Mm-hmm. It all shows the kind of upbringing these men have had. And I say it's in the DNA. You can't help it. It's not only the upbringing, it's there in the blood, it's there in the DNA. And they think that it's a woman, any woman for that matter, is a public property and it's my birthright to abuse her. Okay, but this needs to stop is what my argument always has been.
Let me make it more personal and try and understand from you a little bit more about your own journey. When you stepped out and you were prepared for this world of cinema and also the world of politics, did you face hate speeches? Are you prepared for these kind of hate speeches as the Madras High Court calls it now?
Maria, you know, very fortunately, when you step out, most of the men are very, very civilized. It's very few of them, people like them, they say one dead fish, spoils the pond. And you have people like Ponmudy and some people from different political parties, or mainly from DMK, where they keep abusing women right, left, and center. And I say that it's them who do it, not all men. And you see that it's most of the time the men who stand up for women. Even now at Madras High Court, it was a male judge who stood up for a woman. and he said that it will be considered as a hate speech, and it was not a woman. So I don't think all men belong to the same category. I would say that there are men who stand up for women, who understand, they know how to respect women. And when I step out with more confidence, because I know if there is one man who's going to abuse me, there will be probably 10 other men who is going to stand up and speak up for me. So I look at the positive side of it rather than looking at negative side. They always say you have a problem, a small problem. You try to, make a bigger line and see that, okay, this is a very small problem. There's something else I need to address too. And me being a very, very optimistic person, I don't look into it as something which I would say that it worries me, it scares me, because I see very positive sided men, I see very positive minded people around, men around. So I still feel that there is a lot of goodness in the society and in the men around. So just few men who probably have been brought up on a misogyny and a very dirty mindset. You can't change them. But like I said, I mean, I rather look on the positive side of it.
Okay, Khushbu, my last question to you would be, of course, as we are having this conversation around misogyny, sexism, that women in general, particularly all of us who are in full public view face it. When was the first time you faced a misogynistic comment, and particularly a comment which stayed with you and which has disturbed you immensely?
I think it was in DMK, and there were two ministers. I was part of DMK then, and we had this event, a very huge event happening in Coimbatore, Chemmori Punga. It was about Tamil language, which Kalingar was doing it very in a very huge way, and I had these two ministers from DMK who didn't even bother. There's a woman in front of them, and they started changing in front of me. So I had to tell them. I said, "There's a woman around, and you need to know where you stop." And they were like, "Ah, it's okay. Then you can turn the other way." So these kind of mindset people you have. So that's when I realized that probably they say if a woman is in public life, she has to have a thick skin. She should be buffalo skinned. And I understand that if a woman is in public life, she need not have a buffalo skin, but she definitely needs to have a hippopotamus skin where nothing penetrates. You need to give it back. It has to bounce back. And I very genuinely and with a lot of concern, I tell all the women around that there are certain men who needs to be your reflection. You give it back to them what they rightly deserve then and there. You don't have to be on a nice side. You don't have to be, being trying to be Miss Goody Goody in two shoes. Rather, give it back what
Yes.
men deserve. Who have this kind of a misogynist mindset about a woman. I think they don't deserve any respect. You just give it back to them.
All right, Khushbu Sundar, really appreciate your time and thank you for sharing your story and your views on this judgment.